Good morning, everyone. Welcome. It's November 27th, and it's the beginning of week 6 of CML HCQ 6275. We are at the last quarter of the semester. And before I go any further, I've gotten an email and also was experiencing difficulties this morning with the grade book. We think we have this solved. I called the instructional technology lab and they looked into this course, and now it seems like everything's working. So if you had a problem trying to post to the grade book or whatever, try it again. The problem should be solved. I'm not really sure what the problem was, but it seems to be working fine right now. So here we are in week 6. I'm anxiously I'm anxiously prepared to look at your submissions of your matrix and also your draft paper. That's due today sometime. I will try and turn those around as quickly as possible. While I am looking over your work, remember today, you should be posting your drafts to the discussion boards for week 6. So down here, you should be posting to your program. This class is so small and it's 2 programs, so I thought the best way to do it would be to just split you up by program, because you're probably going to be working on projects that are more similar with each other. So week 6 here is CML, and week 6 here is HCQ, and we're looking for a review. There's nothing here right now, but you're looking for a review, a peer review of each other's work, so that you can give some constructive feedback and continue to synthesize and integrate the literature that you have looked into. So let's go back to the weekly session and take a look at really what the assignment is for the discussion board. So you want to put your initial draft up, okay, using the rubric below, which is introduction and importance of the topic, literature search overview, and presentation of the major themes. I want you to look at those areas in the way that is described by the rubric, which is this same table here, okay? And ask yourself these questions when you're reading someone else's work that are listed below. How clearly does the writer establish the importance of the topic? Is it succinct and to the point? Sometimes we get distracted in trying to make a point, and we sort of go down a little rabbit hole, and eventually the reader starts to ask themselves, well, what's the point? So there's this sort of balance between giving enough background information, but also getting to the point without taxing the reader. So think about that. Are the supporting points of relevance supported by the literature? This is really very important. Any paper, even papers I write for publication, are scrutinized by if you are sort of just making up thoughts, or if they are thoughts that are already grounded in literature. Now, you may be expanding on the literature, which is fine, but remember that science is like a story. It's a continually unfinished story. So we look to literature and research and those types of peer-reviewed publications, and we add to the story. So think about that as you're looking at other people's work. Is the paper continuing the story of the science, or at least, at very least, telling the story of the science? Is there a clear link between the topic and the overall understanding of health care made explicit? So that's one set of questions. Is the literature search overview organized in a logical manner? Is relevance for each article discussed in the overview? Does the discussion hold together and inform the topic is a summary made to conclude the overall overview section. So this is really important because not everything you have found in your literature search is as significant as maybe others. So it's natural to have certain papers that are very significant, certain resources, and then others that are less significant. And the important thing is to, again, communicate to the reader, what is most important, what is less important, and ensuring that you're giving the reader an overview that is really focused on the most important literature associated with the topic. And is the topic really made clear to the problem, quote unquote, that you are dealing with in the paper? Third set of questions: are the major themes discussed in a logical manner and manner and relevance established for each? Is the discussion supported by the literature with citations? Very important. Is the discussion synthesized and integrated as opposed to a long list of statements that may not hold together? Does the organization of the themes seem logical to you given the topic? So, a couple things to really focus on here. Sometimes I read papers where it's just one sentence after another, and they really don't sort of have anything to do with each other, but they're just sort of a list of statements that students might have amassed as part of their review of the literature. Again, you're telling a story when you're writing. We should not be bouncing back and forth in the chronology of the story, and details make sense and are important. So we'd never take the story of Red Riding Hood and say Red Riding Hood was walking through the woods, and the next statement is she's in grandma's house where the wolf is, and then go back and say that she encountered this wolf in the woods. Like, it's just all out of order. And not only that, it doesn't tell a straightforward story. So think about that as you're reading and giving feedback. Citations are so important because sometimes we say things that may seem like common knowledge, or they may seem like something that we should all know, or something that you're just writing in a sentence. But it really is ascribing to someone else's work. It's really important. That doesn't mean every sentence needs a citation. Hardly am I saying that. But when you say something along the lines of health IT has been defined as such. Well, who defined it? Where was it defined? That's why you need a citation, because it's not your definition. If you're going to say it that way, it is a definition that has come from somewhere, someplace in the literature. On the other hand, if it's an opinion of yours, that's different. That would be something more like an interpretation where you say, however, I believe that the definition is lacking because of ... That's different. That's your opinion, and you have every right to challenge a definition, but that doesn't require citation because that's you talking. Okay, so think about that. It's a really important part of making sure that a paper is well constructed and is properly cited, and credit is given due to the person or people that are contributing to your white paper. Okay, and any article or paper you would write in the future. Lastly, what recommendations would you make to help your colleague make the draft stronger for submission? And that's going to be, what recommendations are you making for the final submission? That'll be at the end of the semester. Okay. What else did I want to tell you for today? So, like I said, I'm going to try and turn all this around in the next couple days from my perspective, grading. But this will not hold you up from receiving peer review from each other. So when you go to the discussion boards, you know, I think what we said was we would pair you up, but this class is so small, I think I'm going to leave it to you all to self-organize. And what that means is, and let me use an example. So April in the HCQ group has already posted her draft. When everyone else posts, I'm going to leave it to you all to just decide who's going to read whose. There is nothing wrong if you want to read all of them. I don't know if anyone wants to do that, but just make sure that everyone gets a review from someone. And if you somehow have problems making that work, just let me know. But I think this is the easiest way. It's such a small class in this semester. If you have any questions, as usual, reach out to me. Best way is to go to questions for professor, comes right to my email, as did last night when someone told me that there was some weirdness going on with Blackboard. I was able to get onto it as soon as possible, and I think everything's working now. So if you have more private discussion you need to have with me, reach out, and I can set up a meeting with you. Or if after you receive feedback from me, you want further time, we can set that up individually. And in those cases, just email me directly. Okay, I hope everyone had a great weekend. I going to suspect some of you were working over the weekend, and I'm sorry about that. These 8-week courses make it really hard to detour around the holidays because they're very quick courses. I hope you still had a pleasurable Thanksgiving and weekend. And I really look forward to reading your submissions. And I will get onto that right away tomorrow morning after everyone's had a chance to submit. All right, have a great week, and you'll be hearing from me. Bye-bye.